Welcome back to another episode on The Gold Room. Today we're lucky enough to have Michelle Keegan, not the actress, but the owner of Mining in Space. Thank you very much, Michelle, for coming in and gracing us with your presence.
Thank you. Really excited to be here.
Excellent. Paulie, thank you very much for coming back in and co-hosting another episode with me, mate. It is much appreciated.
Mate, wild horses couldn't keep me away from this place, honestly.
Beautiful song. Beautiful song. Michelle, we always start with the life and the times.
Yep.
So where did you grow up? Where did you start? And how did you get on this crazy journey to space?
Yeah, where did I begin? In the best country on earth, back in New Zealand. I was born in Dunedin, and I grew up there until I was about 15. So, yeah, spent a lot of my younger years in Wellington, and then before moving to Hamilton in the Waikato.
Bloody good old Mooloo. Mooloo country.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also a great rugby country, but I guess where isn't in New Zealand?
Yeah.
I finished, I had a couple of years left to go in high school, and my mum brought me and my sister to Australia, really to find opportunities. And so her view was that we'd be able to, go to uni and find some great jobs in Australia. And she actually had a friend who was in Kalgoorlie, and so what better place to start in Australia than in the hot desert? So it was absolutely horrible when we got there. Couldn't have thought of a worse place, but
What month did you arrive in?
It was January, so it was just bloody hot.
Coming from bloody New Zealand, that would have been a tough trot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you come from the green grass and lovely temperatures to something that is just
45 degrees in a red desert.
Yeah, a large heater that will never turn off in the backyard that was just full of red dirt and double Gs. And
double Gs.
Not what we'd kind of seen before, but yeah, I spent those last couple of years of high school in Kalgoorlie, and while I didn't learn a lot about mining when I was in high school, I ended up deciding to do mining engineering, and so spent another 4 years there and had best time of my life.
And it was a 4-year degree when you did yours?
Yeah, it was actually, you could only do it in Kalgoorlie as well. So,
really?
But the thing was in Cal, it was a small campus. You knew everyone. You knew everyone the years above you, the years below you. Pretty much everyone had a scholarship. There were guaranteed jobs at the end as well as throughout study. And so, I was able to spend time working underground around Kambalda. Absolutely loved that. Also spent some time over east. With a brand new coal mine that was about to start. So everyone at school, probably majority would have ended up in underground mining just because that was what Kalgoorlie was all about. I think, spending that time in Kalgoorlie, you actually get addicted to mining, I think. It's
in your face, it's right there, everyone's doing it, the money's great, it's hard yakka.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you meet some prospectors that have found gold, and it gets you hooked even more. I mean, probably if I went back again, probably study geology. I think that'll be a heap of fun. But yeah, I spent that time in Kalgoorlie and another couple of years after that, working underground in Tennant Creek. So another kind of right in the middle of nowhere. Hoping for the dream, but yeah, that gave me heaps of opportunity to travel, and I think the travel bug, that independence, was kind of in me from a young age, and so just continued on that mining journey.
Where did you travel to? Internationally?
I mean, probably most of the travel happened once I had a job at Dynon & Bell and started to travel, all over the world. I went to, China, trying to sell explosives in there.
How did that go?
It went safely. I'm still here. So I think, there's a few times, turning up in the middle of nowhere where you've got people, sitting around with pots and pans and chickens kind of running around them, and then there's brand new kind of mobile phone. It's kind of this kind of stark contrast between everything. But to be driving around the middle of China with an explosive truck behind us and brand new detonators and trying to help people kind of learn about what we had to offer was pretty cool. But
what year was that?
That was early 2000s. But another step again, actually spent some time in Russia. So we were looking to try and make a play in Russia. And so, for 3 weeks over January, a different kind of temperature. It was, minus 30 or minus of what I
What part of
landed
Russia?
on. Northern Siberia, so right up in Norilsk. And
That's where Dimitri's from.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He can probably tell us some stories.
Oh, he sure could.
But yeah, I mean, maybe things have changed a bit since then. But I was there with a Russian from Dyno Nobel. There's another guy from Dyno Nobel in Sweden, and me. And it was great. One night we were watching the Australian Open with the cold, with 3 different kind of backgrounds, kind of sitting and watching this tennis game. It was amazing. But there as well, going underground. And even in the shops there, it was pretty much all owned by Norilsk. Everything was done on abacus. They might have had a calculator there just to check that, or an abacus to check that the calculator wasn't doing something wrong. But pretty much the abacus was kind of what they did. Everything was measured out. It was just an experience of a lifetime as well. And I think you kind of go through these times after during uni as well, just kind of spending time around Australia. Then working, in the middle of nowhere in Tennant Creek as well, going to, a fishing trip, the Tennant Creek Fishing Club, nowhere near fish, nowhere near water, but, drive 9 hours away and suddenly you're at Borroloola and you're fishing. So, then to go overseas and find these other outback areas was amazing. I mean, been to many other places as well, but working for an explosives company, it was a global company, certainly was never on my mind when I was finishing uni. I remember one of the guys said to me, "What do you think you'll do when you leave?" And I was like, "I just studied mining. What do you think? I'm going to be a mining manager, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have my own mine, and I can't wait." And look at what I'm doing now. It's still a form of mining, but it's not exactly the same. And working in explosives isn't the same. And there's so many different journeys I've been able to take. Within my career, different jobs in the different companies, as well as different regions around the world. Got to spend some time in London when I was working for Rio Tinto as well, and so living not far from Paddington Station and kind of taking the journey on my bike to the office was pretty cool. Loved just sitting in the train station watching the trains go by. It's not something that you kind of see here either. So different experiences have really kind of helped to shape me and just love to learn, love to travel, just it's also amazing just to meet new people with different backgrounds, whether it's kind of younger generation, whether it's older generation, whether it's people inside mining or outside of mining. There's always lots to learn, lots of passion from different people for different reasons.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Michelle, what drives you? What are you most passionate about, like today? And what was there a defining moment when that actually sparked that passion?
Yeah, I think I love to learn, and I've loved to learn kind of right across the course of my career, and I think I've never really known where each day is going to take me, but I think kind of being open to whatever is there has been part of me. And outside of learning, I love to be a part of connecting and shaping, and certainly I spent a few years at South 32. I was lucky enough to work for Vanessa Torres, and she's an amazing leader, probably one of the best people I've ever worked for. And she had vision, and she wanted to create the role that I took on, which is about creating the next generation mine blueprint for South 32. And I think, I realised when I got there, I didn't have the same technology background that anyone else did in our team, but I knew, what I brought, and I had that opportunity to shape that future for South 32. They'd acquired new projects like this project in Arizona, and I was able to bring the mining background I had, the strategy background from Rio Tinto. I'd also spent time leading strategy at Dyno Nobel for a number of years, and then kind of bringing that all together into a future kind of design of operation for that company. And so, I really continued to kind of go down that journey and kind of realise, what better time now when you kind of look, it doesn't matter where it is around the globe and what industry really, the technology development is just kind of increasing what's possible for us, whether it's in, artificial intelligence or whether it's in physical technology, and then kind of bringing all of that together and to shape, what's possible. That's kind of really what drives me, and my passion is to connect, to kind of shape that future and continue to learn along the way.
Yeah. Okay.
You've had an illustrious career, working for some of the big names in mining. What started or drove your passion into the space industry?
It was actually, it was probably just in some ways it was luck and fortune, but also, when I was working at South 32, there was a video I did which kind of talked about, my vision of the future of mining, and someone kind of picked that up and said, hey, would you like to come and work at this organisation called Arose, which had only just been set up. It was all about leveraging the capabilities we have in mining and automation and what we do at scale every day to take that to space. And so, when they kind of said, do you want to come and work here, I kind of thought that'd be an amazing opportunity to leverage, again, what I've done and take that even further. I knew that, what we created at South 32 was pretty special. The next generation mine is still kind of the terminology that's used there, but to then think about another sector again and what could that do to take us even further, that's kind of what really excited me, and that's what brought me to the space sector. I kind of, when I joined the organisation, I was there with a few other people, and it was actually Pam Malroy, a former astronaut and then Deputy Administrator of NASA, who had the idea to create that business, and then a bunch of companies said, we want to stand this thing up, but it was still pretty much a white space. It was a white space to be able to fill around what does that mining space look like together. But we started to jump on the phone, and every day there was me and the CEO, and we were just meeting new people, new companies.
Awesome.
We were learning every day. I remember one of the early companies was called Spin Launch, and they had a business which was basically about it was like a big centrifuge. So it was kind of imagine spinning rockets, and the idea was to spin this out, up into the atmosphere. And I think you meet those kind of people. I was also fascinated. There was lots of women that I met. There was lots of women that were kind of leading companies, and there's also lots of passion. I think certainly saw that in the space sector, people do it because it's a passion. People have kind of dreamed about working in space, since they're a kid. I think, while I've loved working in mining, and I'd still kind of promote the mining industry to anyone, it's not something that I kind of grown up being passionate about. I am now, But it's really infectious when you meet just about anyone from the space sector, whether they're working from an astrophysics background, whether they're an engineer, they've designed part of a sensor on the Perseverance rover, or they've designed, the rover itself. Like when you start to meet these people, I guess you just start to get, it's a different kind of addiction. It's probably more a passion yourself around.
Yeah. It's infectious, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I guess like somebody like Gwyn Shotwell from SpaceX would be a prime example of that, of women in space and the drive that they need to have. And, what she's achieved over the years is just phenomenal.
Yeah, and I think you kind of look at what SpaceX has done in the last few years, and I think, to create kind of the launch costs that they have that have just enabled so many people to go to space, and you think about the careers that have been, created, in SpaceX for so many people, and some stay there, for a while, and some go on to create their new careers. But it's a platform not just for launching, rockets, rovers, whatever. Satellites, whatever it might be to space, but it's also a launch pad for careers, which is amazing.
I find one of the most interesting aspects about SpaceX is where they started. They basically started from nothing and built it up from there, and that's a phenomenal story in itself, and just the perseverance required to get that going and just not giving up. There was a true belief there, and if you surround yourself with the right people, you can make that happen. Yeah,
exactly. Kind of setting that vision, and if you look at what Elon did with Tesla as well, I mean, they're both just amazing examples.
Even what he did with Sun City, his solar project, amazing. It's just that drive and determination, and you hit the nail on the head, Paul. It's never given up.
Yeah. And there's probably a bunch of other projects that we don't know about. We know that he's
the Boring Company. He made a shit ton of money by designing and selling flamethrowers all over.
Well, I mean, there was actually I was able to run a conference at IMARC last year about kind of bringing mining space together, and Shireen, who's kind of the conference director there, she's an amazing woman. She's got amazing vision as well around that conference and what she wants to do every year, and she also kind of sees the opportunity to bring more space people to that and connect more people. And one of the speakers had in there Nina, who actually works for Interloon, introduced me to a couple of people. And one lady, had actually created a business around that flame throwing. It was really kind of about trying to break rock and look at that as a different way of extracting.
Yeah.
Wicked. Where do you see the most exciting collaboration between mining and space?
Well, it has to be the Robopalooza, doesn't it?
Let's go into
plastered you guys with badges and I
That's
know
right.
you're
Robopalooza is yours up the right way.
Yeah, you took blood last time, I think. Thank you.
Let's
you've got to be connected to it, don't you?
Yeah.
Let's go into Robopalooza.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the reason why I raised Robopalooza is, this was actually created last year as a telepresence competition. So it's all about kind of advanced robotics, about this rover that's driving around in the desert, and it's being remotely operated by people with the vision by Rob Mueller, who actually set this up, that in the next few years there'll be lots of people all over the world operating rovers on the moon, and they'll all be doing that from places like this or wherever else. And so, creating the opportunity for people to understand more about telepresence and robotics and bringing that all together was kind of his vision. And so he held the first one in the Mojave Desert last year with a rover called the Helilani rover. It was actually in a Hawaii Five-0 episode at one point. But this was operated by 8 teams all around the world, all different places, and with a delay on the time. And his vision about supporting this competition, wasn't just about the competition itself. Like, that's fantastic, and it really challenges people on how to bring a team together, work as a team. You've got this one mission, and
I like the idea of multiple countries finally working together.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
Who would have thought? Yeah,
exactly. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and I think what's cool as well is what they did was to set up this flag. So at the end of the race, you kind of pick up your flag and drive it home. And I was with the Australian team, who were in the competition, and they were the last ones of the day. And I just remember looking at what was going on and just thinking, far out, this is hard. And I said, oh, you're better off just to go drive to the middle, do a bunch of burnouts and make a name for yourself like that. And they said, no, we're going to do it. And they did, and actually won. So they pulled this together and they won that competition.
So it's a little bit more than BattleBots then, Josh.
I did love BattleBots.
But they had to get around this course. They hadn't been there. There was a delay between the camera and kind of what the controls that they were kind of putting in. So it wasn't joysticks at all. It was commands on the computer. And so
do you know if they simulated the difference in time from here to Mars as well, or the moon for that matter?
It was kind of supposed to be similar to a delay to the moon.
Yep.
And so trying to simulate, what could it be like, but I mean, Rob kind of envisioned this thing to not only have these teams around the world, which ultimately I hope they'll continue to connect with each other. And we were cheering on the other Australian team who kind of went on before us, which was great. But equally, there's a bunch of kids that kind of live around that desert, and he was keen for them to see what's possible, what other careers could they get involved in, and so brought industry there so people could get excited. Brought bands there, food vans, and just made it a fun kind of festival. And so, with that vision, that's what we're trying to create in Perth at the Robopalooza. They'd kind of heard about the ARP, which is the Australian Automation Robotics Precinct. It's just 30 minutes or probably even closer from here. Drive away where, 51 hectares, the government spent, I think it's around $40 million to put this place together, which you can use for Robopalooza or kind of demonstrating lots of other things. But, we've kind of built the vision up. So over the course of 2 days, we'll have a STEM day. So we'll have companies from the US, from Australia running activities for kids, so that they can start to get hands-on, build their own robots, drive them around and start to imagine what's possible. We'll have speakers. We'll have Rob Mueller, who works at Kennedy Space Centre and created SwampWorks.
Amazing.
So he'll be there to inspire them. We'll have the next day is an industry day, and we'll have Rob speak. We just announced today that Mike Nyack from DARPA will speak. We'll have a bunch of other people, and we'll have some pitch panels with companies pitching their business to venture capital companies, and then we'll have university students pitching their concepts, and we'll have industry from space and mining. And it's the first time I know of that the space and the mining industries have ever come together in this kind of physical space. So it's not just about presenting, it's about physical things, and they can start to
Yes.
imagine what could the future be together. So,
Yeah.
hoping we can inspire teachers, parents, kids, industry to,
And you will.
to do more.
And you will.
Yeah.
And that's why when I heard about the story, I thought we need to get you on here so you can talk about it. So, it's obviously a passion project.
Yep.
It's not just a business for you. Like you've put your heart and soul into it. And that's admirable.
Yeah. And I think, connecting with you guys, coming from the mining background as well. And, you see also all these different futures for kids and people that have, kind of left school as well. And I think that's probably what has connected us to be able to help people imagine different futures.
Yeah.
So that probably leads into the next question. Like, you've been a major driver of STEM programs, here in Australia. How does that fit into your broader mission and, education on STEM subjects and things like that?
Yeah, and I think it probably goes back to, so when I was at Arose, we got the grant for stage 1 of designing Australia's first lunar rover. And while the big goal was to design that rover, and there was a bunch of smart engineers, all at, ex-NASA have had, almost 100 missions behind them, might have even been more than that. Yeah. The Australian Space Agency actually had a bigger vision to bring the nation along, and part of that was about, bringing kids along through STEM, but also inspiring kind of people into new careers so we could build a space industry. We could grow that space industry and kind of go on to make products that we could export kind of globally. And so as part of that, I was able to start to design what could that STEM program look like. And there's a fantastic company over east. They run the Australian Virtual Astronaut Challenge, but also was able to run a program for people 18 and above. And I think, while I was keen to kind of make sure that other programs were available overseas, make them available over here, kind of didn't, fully appreciate what else this did to, again, kind of connect people around Australia. The big goal was about making space accessible for all. That was kind of the mission behind the program, and running a virtual program where it didn't matter where you were in Australia, you built a team and you built a design for a lunar rover and put that together. And I think when you see just the people's faces at the end and kind of what they've learned, and now they not only had been studying something or kind of working in an area, they truly saw that they had a place in the industry and they could create their own path. And so I think, when you kind of see that benefit, it just kind of continues to drive you to see how else can you, expose more people to more opportunities, really.
Like, we don't often hear about these sorts of things. So, and even speaking for myself, and I'm interested in the subject, but there's not a lot in mainstream media.
I'd never heard anything.
Really?
Until I read it on LinkedIn.
Is there a push to sort of, to get more widespread coverage? Would be the question, I guess.
I think there is, and I think it's funny. I spent most of my career in mining conferences, and there's mining people talking to mining people. Then you go to space, and it's kind of the same thing. And so I guess that's kind of why I'm passionate to try and bring these two things together. But the Australian Space Agency is kind of doing more podcasts and videos, but that's on LinkedIn. Not everyone looks at LinkedIn,
That's true,
and so I think the more that we can promote these other conferences that are out there to people in our industry and mining, and also to parents and kids.
The government should be pushing this into schools.
Yeah, absolutely. And Joseph Banks has actually set up this. It's kind of this dome for kids to think that they're on Mars and have to kind of go and discover. But that's still hidden. Like, probably it's not that well known by people, but other than those kind of passionate. So to kind of encourage anyone that's kind of here listening to this to look up the Space Agency, the Space Industry Association, and to just start Googling space and see what else you kind of find that's going on in Australia, and
it's a rabbit
get connected.
hole.
Yeah,
It is. It can be. It can be. A good rabbit hole, nonetheless.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Michelle, you were recently named as one of the global 100 most inspirational women. That was a mouthful, but it's true. So tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean
what an accolade.
Yeah, and it's amazing to kind of be a part of that. This kind of program's been going for a few years now, and really credit to the team in the UK who have created this opportunity. And they kind of look for stories right around the world, and it's amazing to see the coverage across, all sorts of geographies, again, all sorts of backgrounds of these women around the world. To kind of be a part of that is fantastic. I mean, huge supporter of trying to help, promote the opportunities for a diverse workforce. Gender is part of that, and I think when you start to think about diversity, gender just comes. And having spent the last kind of year or so in BHP, who've got more ambitious targets than anyone, you just kind of see what a great workplace you end up in.
How do you see your role in this evolving space? And are you more of like a connector or a visionary, perhaps, a doer, or all three?
Yeah, it's probably a bit of all three. And I think when I joined the space area, and kind of this was a white space, and I kind of found I wanted to fill this. I wanted to bring people around me and create something, and that means being a visionary, but also kind of means being a doer, because when I first kind of told people I was going to do the role that I did, I was actually at Diggers, and I just remember most people just glazed eyes, like,
righto,
we're here kind of for other things, and what else do you want to talk about? And so I think it meant I need to kind of do a bit of all, but I love kind of continuing to shape what's possible. And the last couple of years I've been able to bring big groups of mining people to NASA Ames. There's been a couple of day workshop there, and to bring people from mining technology to the same room, it's almost like a Greek wedding where you've got Greeks and non-Greeks, you've got space and kind of non-space, but everyone's kind of energised about what's possible. And so have been part of kind of creating what's possible, and then kind of in the doing. And Robopalooza is certainly there's amazing people here in Perth and over east, kind of helping create this as well, and so really fun to be doing that together, and we're all trying to create that future. So I'll continue to work in the mining space area, and I think trying to continue to connect that to mining is kind of what I'm trying to do more of. If you kind of look at artificial intelligence, for example, and what's possible now to solve the problems we have in mining, there's some amazing tech companies right here in Perth creating businesses that are working well in Australia and being exported overseas. Subjects like dilution and other things are all part of that.
So what do you see as the ultimate goal of all this, though? Is it actual mining in space?
I mean, and even...
Great question, Polly. That's what I think too.
I'd encourage people to listen to, there's a podcast called Small Steps, Giant Leaps, and they interview a bunch of NASA people, and Rob Mueller's one of them. And he kind of asked, why go to the moon? And he talks about kind of basically the moon being the witness plate of everything that went on in Earth. And most kind of people from the space industry will talk about, we're here to explore, we're explorers, and we'll continue to go and explore, and we do that to learn. And, I think there's probably not many people in the mining industry that would kind of promote or endorse mining on the moon. But certainly, when we talk about excavation on the moon, it really is to be able to find water ice or uncover water ice through sensing, to be able to extract oxygen from that, to create fuel, to create that presence that enables us to go further and further to Mars and beyond. So I think, that's kind of, the focus that I'm passionate about. But when you think about everyone that has to go there to kind of go to this outback frontier, in the same way as, what happened on Earth when every kind of region was discovered, the opportunity is to actually take those technologies and kind of de-risk your path by applying that in mining. And I think that's what where I think the real opportunity is and value. If we can take years of R&D in the space sector and kind of a projection of the scale, and most podcasts will kind of tell you that every company will be a space company into the future, whether you kind of realise it now or not. But the blue dot on our phone exists not because of what we do here on Earth, but because of what happens in space.
That's right. Yeah.
I wonder if so I know Paulie and I have discussed this over the years, but maybe you can shed some light on it. Why was there the push? Why is there the push for Mars and not building some sort of fixed structure on the moon, which is closer to us. Can you?
Well, it probably
Enlighten me.
depends who you talk to, and
It does.
It's a Moon to Mars strategy that Ampmyer and the NASA administration kind of created, and it was actually all about building an infrastructure on the moon and around the moon that enabled us to kind of build that presence, to learn how to live kind of off Earth before going to Mars. I guess others have kind of got that passion about going to Mars first, but even if you think about technology and mining, and you kind of think, we're going to build out a roadmap, we're going to go from step A to B to C. There's always someone that's going to come and kind of loop right around it, and you kind of you miss all of those steps and you go straight to the end because of what you've learnt from the path that you take there. So that's kind of what's kind of and you would have seen the different kind of rovers going to the moon
absolutely
lately.
But there are steps. They are taking steps with Artemis and other programs to go to the moon.
I did see the other day that China is on a crazy push to get to the moon. They're looking at the lava. They call them the lava tubes. That's it.
Yeah.
And they're saying, maybe we can be blocking off an area. And I saw this just the other day on a bloody some sort. It wasn't even a podcast. It was just on YouTube channel.
And
what do you know about that?
I think, and even, you talk to a lot of people about the space industry. I remember the first conference I went to, and they talk about these lava tubes, and I just didn't know why they had this, fascination about them. But then I guess you talk to others that talk about these, storms on the moon and kind of needing to protect people and kind of talk about the importance of the lava tubes. But I've probably reached the extent of what I can talk about there. And I will give you some names of other space people who kind of live here in Perth.
Do you know about them?
Just to explain to Jossie that there's no air on the moon, mate.
I just fucking know that, Paul. Thank you very much. I'll be editing that out. This guy.
And radiation is a bit of a problem.
So protection of people and kind of that's kind of important area. And you look at the different habitats, and it's to protect people.
So they're talking about asteroids and things. Hitting the moon, and that was one of the reasons that people in the whatever country, they're saying that maybe a possible way to protect people, machinery, protect and build a structure is maybe inside of these lava tubes. So that China's putting a lot of time, money, effort into, and they haven't sent any machinery or what's it called? Any sort of rover or anything into the lava tubes yet. They've just used satellites to be able to look down into and get some kind of an idea of angles and valleys or whatever it is inside.
Yeah, they're well ahead, of many people and what they're doing there.
Yeah. What are the biggest challenges in this industry?
I guess when I kind of think about challenges, I kind of think more about that, the challenges and connecting kind of mining and space. And I think, even if you look at the lunar architecture that, people are kind of striving for, which, includes, processing unit, you have people kind of digging up the regolith, you'll have kind of infrastructure being created from what people kind of take from that regolith, you'll have the processing units, you'll have habitats, you'll have kind of people moving around, and we haven't done that before. We can learn as much as we can here, but starting to put all of that architecture together is hasn't been done, and they do an amazing job of creating these different scenarios and then kind of building the different technologies, working out where the gaps are, and so I think and the challenge in, them having the confidence and success, I hope that the mining industry can kind of play a role in that, and that is, we design kind of remote infrastructure every day. We have mines all over the globe. We're great at that. It's kind of small scale and big scale, and so I think I think to be able to help close the challenges of kind of their own confidence and de-risking the technology and what this could look like, I hope that we can play a part in that, and we've got our own challenges here on Earth, right, to try and mine on a smaller footprint to reduce the energy and water and
environmental.
Yeah. And I think, also be economics as well. If the large copper deposits at surface are all found and we have to go deeper, we haven't mined at depth, in Australia, k's plus like they do in South Africa. And, we have some level of automation and, production levels in mining, but there's only a handful of mines and it's only one production level. It's not a full mine. So if you kind of think about everything that's designed for space, everything's designed for operation here, this kind of room. And so if we can kind of learn from the space sector on how to get to, smaller robotics to sensing to kind of do everything that we could do, without people, then,
I wonder if companies like Epiroc are working with space agencies and saying, hey, listen, we want to design drill rigs for the use on Mars or for the use on the moon. You can only imagine that they are, right? Do you know if they are?
Well, I don't know if they're doing anything on drill rigs. Certainly Honeybee is kind of doing a great job there. But, they actually signed an agreement with iSpace to actually design the robotic basically the bucket to excavate. So, they've already designed that with iSpace. So
awesome.
And I think, they see the capability that they can bring and kind of the inspiration that creates as well, kind of challenging everyone. And
so, of course, this like the moon is an obvious step to like further field mining asteroids, for instance, which is now being looked at in detail in studies. So, there's also that further down the track, I would believe too.
Yeah, and I've met a few different people that have got their own asteroid companies, and some have kind of failed, and some are continuing, and it's going to be pretty hard, I think. But there's some great companies in the US, and they're looking at kind of this thing called a fly trap, which will kind of go and capture the asteroid, bring bunches together, create a platform to kind of explore, even further. But I think as we continue to push the boundaries on technology, that'll become, more and more, what we see as well.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah. And to think kids these days can be a part of that. Kind of doesn't matter where you are in the world. It's no longer just a sci-fi kind of movie or a dream or whatever. Like, these jobs are here, and I think it doesn't matter who you talk to. Everyone says kind of the last 10 years has been this kind of huge kind of skyrocket of investment and opportunity in that sector. And so, imagine if you're a kid today and looking at what's possible there.
As we were talking before we went on air, that, sometimes you think that, if only I was 30 or 40 years younger, it'd be a very exciting industry to get into.
Yeah.
This is the second to last question, Michelle. Then Paulie's going to finish up with the last one.
I'm looking at my watch.
Oh, sorry, mate. That's right. Sorry to hold you up. You've been here for a long time drinking me coffee and me beers. What role do you think Robopalooza holds in pushing young people and businesses into the space industry?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I think we want to have impact. We want to absolutely have impact, kind of in the state, and hopefully much wider than that. I hope that kids will kind of see, meet other people, be able to see kind of what's possible, and that will inspire them into new areas of study. It doesn't have to be at uni. There's amazing careers at TAFE, and the TAFEs here in WA are kind of already thinking forward around space industry and what they do, and so. Yeah, I think part of the impact will be that inspiration should kind of lead to just broader thinking around what else is possible. And then for companies, one of the reasons why we've got these pitch events is that we actually want to connect the local venture capital companies. And Charlie Gunningham has kind of set up a bunch here in West Australia, with Jitsi. And if we can kind of expose more people to the mining tech and to the space tech, or in the one arena, like, we want people to see what we do well here in Australia, and we want kind of more funding to be able to keep doing that. So, I'm hoping, inspiration. I'm hoping more collaboration between mining and space sector that'll create new businesses, and I'm hoping the current businesses that are going to pitch are going to, get some funding, hopefully, or interest anyway, and continue to move forward. We could have a thriving space industry here. We already have, a number of companies right across Australia, and hope we continue to grow that. Yeah,
I think Gilmore Space is about to launch, or not far off launching now in Queensland. So but in West Australia, we've certainly got some advantages because we have the knowledge of automation and remote technology, and it's a great base to be leaping from. So I think it's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, and I mean, when the NASA Ames guys have kind of been up to the Pilbara to look at kind of what happens there, they've been to the operating centres here in Perth, and they just kind of can't believe it. They're just in awe of what we do every day. Like, you have one person operating a number of drills, a number of trucks, and in the space sector, it's one kind of unit or one piece of infrastructure, rover or whatever, and heaps of people around them. So, they're inspired by what we see, and we're the leaders in the world in that here in mining. So
yeah, absolutely,
it's a great place to be.
Yeah. So probably just summing up, Josh, I think what's the best piece of advice that you've ever heard or you've ever received, and something that stuck out for you during your career, coming from somebody else, say.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just, I think for me, I think it's important to kind of have, a broad plan, but to be open along the way, and just to kind of let yourself be exposed to as much as you can, to let yourself meet, to let yourself be, curious and ask people kind of what they're doing and why is probably one of the best pieces of advice. And I think, if I'd kind of fixed myself on what I was originally going to do, I wouldn't have been where I am today. But I also kind of know once you kind of work out, what is it that kind of makes you excited every day, I think kind of just keep going after it. And it might not be what someone's told you to do or what someone expects you to do, but, you'll have more fun and kind of doing that. And I guess the other thing is, just because we're a small country and a remote from the US and Europe, those opportunities are all there. Everyone, if you want to reach out to someone, people will generally say, yes, I'd love to talk to you. And
the technology's there now.
Yeah.
That those distances are becoming smaller and smaller and smaller by the day.
Yeah. Yep. And I think, we connected, via kind of what we saw kind of online, and here we are.
That's
so I think
exactly right.
it's it's that kind of thing that we're kind of interested in what each other does, and we're interested in what lots of people do around the world. So let yourself keep going.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Michelle, thank you very much for coming in and spending the time. Thanks very much for my pin and Paulie's. Look, I'm looking forward to attending Robopalooza.
Yeah.
As I said to you earlier, there's a couple of friends of mine in Kalgoorlie that, one particular friend, his daughter did really well in her science fair. She won an award, and she came down to Perth, and she's very smart. And I actually spoke to her the other day and said, look, Piper, I'd love to get you to Perth. Hopefully your dad will get you there and come along to Robopalooza with me.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Thank you very much.
Hopefully we can get you in there commentating as well.
I don't know about if anyone wants me.
How long have you got?
Don't know if anyone wants me yapping on, but but I'd love to help out in any way possible. So and that's what this is about, you coming on and being able to do my bit. So thank you very much once again. Paul, thank you very much. I look forward to.
Not a problem.
We've got you back in a couple of weeks' time.
Have we?
For another one, mate. Yeah. So
you
drop that. Yeah, you get a pay rise, mate.
Okay, yeah.
Take a beer from the fridge, mate, and off you go.
but I mean, keep doing what you're doing. I think there's still people that don't realise the opportunities in mining or other sectors, and I think that's why this is really special for lots of people. So thank you.
Just speaking to you, it reminds me of a little saying that Susie Urbanak said to me, and she said when asking her, "Do you have any advice?" And she said, look through windows and walk through doors.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I thought that's fantastic.
Yeah.
You can stare at something, but if there's a door open, that's the time that you walk or run and ask questions.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's great advice.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
Look, thanks very much once again. I hope you got a lot from this episode. It was a bloody ripper episode. Make sure you drop some comments down below. And as Dimitri keeps reminding me, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much.